Hello, welcome to a brand new and a very special Hope TV. Today, my guest is Jesse Gonzalez. He is my oldest brother, my musical mentor, and one of my best friends in life. Jesse, thanks for being here at Hope TV.
My pleasure, Pastor.
I'm so glad that I have. This is, when we started doing this show, this is one of the shows that I envisioned us doing, but it was 3 years ago. A lot was different back 3 years ago.
Oh, yes.
So it wasn't. We weren't ready to do that
Right.
show just then. But today, I'm just so glad to be able to introduce you to some people and reintroduce you to so many others. Jesse Gonzalez started off as a little blind kid, right?
Well, you could say so. I mean, I was born completely blind.
Yeah.
And mom and dad, bless them. They just, not just me, but also my brother Orlando.
Right.
And so it was a struggle for those few years. Few years.
You were born completely blind. Doctor says you'd never see.
Right.
What happened? How is it that you're looking at me now and you're smiling when I'm smiling?
Well, a miracle happened. Mom and dad say that one morning I just woke up seeing, and they can't explain it. No one can. I mean, God is faithful, and He sure proved it in our lives.
And though you have sight, you are still considered legally blind.
Well, I beat you in bowling, though.
You still beat me in bowling,
Yes.
and you have a way better jumper.
I'm pretty good
A
jumper
jump shot.
for a blind guy. It's pretty good for a blind guy.
You were playing ball the other day,
Yes.
and you heard how many
No,
threes in a row?
Listen, I was playing with my cousin Oki, and he could tell everybody. I hit 4 3-pointers in one game, and I was hot. And then I was feeling real good, and then for the next 4 days, I couldn't walk.
But you don't like playing the inside. You like shooting. From the
I like
outside.
shooting
You
jumpers.
can't-
I don't play D. I don't like playing defense.
But for a guy, this is a point. This is a case in point of a part of what I wanted to talk to you about. I've known you obviously all my life. I
Yeah.
grew up with you and my brothers. I've never felt like you were handicapped. I never felt that. I'm sure your experience was different, but I've never seen you be limited by your.
You know what, Harrison? I think that God blessed me at an early age to know that I was going to be doing music always. And so that helped me to never look at myself as handicapped. However, there were situations and times where I wish I could drive. One time I went to see this doctor. This is not too long ago. And I sat with him and I wanted an operation. I said, come on, everything you guys can do. The guy looked at me and he says, stop complaining and thank God that you can see.
Wow,
And I was like, I was taken back by that.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it just happened. These doctors, they said in my case, I'm very fortunate to see. And they can't mess with it.
I remember going to school one day, very sad, because I overheard somebody say that early on your doctor said that by the time you hit 20, 21,
Right.
that your vision was going to be gone. I remember going to school and crying about that.
Yeah, same for me. And Orlando, God was so good to us that we're able to see still today. I feel like I have, if not better vision, I mean, about the same as I've always had. So it's supposed to deteriorate, but it seems to, I have to sit a little close to watch my Celtics, but I can watch my Celtics, so I feel pretty good.
Now, I remember also when you were young going off to a camp called Camp
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg.
Camp Winnipeg.
That was a camp for the blind.
Yes. I was the fastest kid, and Orlando was like the third fastest kid. It was this black kid. It was kind of quicker than Orlando, but I was still the fastest.
So your experience being limited somewhat by your vision, but music, you're saying, and I'm sure God had a place in this, but music
Yeah.
really helped you come out of your shell and not act like a blind
Well,
kid.
God through music, and you probably remember Mario. There was this man
course.
in my life that took a liking to me as a kid, and had a band that formed with me and Orlando. We were called Juvenile Explosion. Was the name of the
Explosión Juvenil.
Explosion Juvenil. And then, but before that, I played with the Latin gospel layers. Did
How
you know
about
that? With Angelo Gautier in Buffalo, New York, my friend. So,
So having gone through all of this, you had all these little bands where you started off. I remember the day we were praying at Mom's house, Dad's house.
Yes.
9 Sunset Drive.
Yes.
And we finished doing a prayer in our living room.
No, because Mom and Dad had services that week when we went to church.
Right.
Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Then Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Mom and Dad did church at home.
And I vividly, I was very much younger
You
than
were
you.
a baby, yeah.
Praying, and I remember just singing. And one time you said, guys, come downstairs after we sang. But what did you hear? What happened?
Yeah, you always had a good voice.
Oh, that's what I was fishing for that. Did you hear it? I got it.
You were a good singer. Now, your brother Steven, on the other hand, is just a little shaky at best. Steven, my brother.
No, but back then he sang like a bird.
No, but you know the testimony. I prayed for him.
That's right.
I prayed.
Right.
I said it in the service.
That's right.
I prayed for this kid. This guy couldn't sing. I said, "Come on, God, I want all my brothers to sing."
And he sang like a bird.
Sang like a bird. Yeah.
So you started your first band, your band,
Yeah.
with the four oldest.
Yeah, it was simultaneous. It was kind of one of those things where there was the 4 big kids and the 4 little kids.
Yeah. So the 4 big kids are you,
Yeah. Orlando, Marilyn,
and Serena's.
Right.
4 little kids are Stephen, Eliza,
Harrison,
me, and Benny B.
Right.
And so you started using your music through us. And by the way, one of my favorite memories of you and me is a time where you didn't even know I was watching you. You used to play your guitar in the basement, no lights, because
Yeah.
you know.
Well, the reason why, because I wanted to get good at playing, and I didn't want to always look at my guitar while I was playing, so I would play in the dark and get used to playing that way, so that I could.
I just thought it was because you were blind.
No, because if I look, I would have to be looking at it all the time.
See, that's brilliant. I didn't know that's what you were doing.
Today I'm able to play it, and I sing and I
Right,
play, and I
and
don't
you never have to look down. I look down at the frets all the time. Of course, I didn't play in the dark. So listen. So yeah, only one eye.
Only one eye.
Oh. So I remember that day, just in the dark, and you just had the little yellow light from the
Fender amp, yeah.
And you're just playing, and you're playing for hours. And I was sitting there watching you, saying, "I want to be like this guy.
Oh, wow.
I want to be that." And I remember the day you chose me.
Yeah.
You remember how you chose me?
Well, Soli was playing bass before you.
Yes.
You know, but Soli didn't want to practice. You know, but Soli was, Soli could have gotten good.
This was at Grove Street.
Yeah.
Now, at Grove Street, you gave each of us the guitar. You said, "Here,
Right.
take it however you feel comfortable."
That's right.
And the other guys played righty.
Everybody took it the wrong way.
I picked it up lefty.
The wrong way, like me and Soli and Dad.
And you said, "I can teach this guy."
Yeah, that's right. I didn't want to work with those righties, you know.
You start a band, and to make a long story short, we have 20 glorious years of playing music.
Yeah. We did some great things together. I mean, we played Washington for Jesus, played in front of thousands of people there. You remember that?
Yeah.
Man, we played in Puerto Rico, over 50,000 people at the event in Puerto Rico, and we played, Musa Evangelización.
Yeah.
And then we did the Raski thing.
Yeah.
And then we did some concerts with René that were great. We did
Torre Fuerte.
Torre Fuerte. We did some really
times.
cool things. And I remember doing the when we did California too with the Hawkins family.
Oh, wow.
That we went to. That was a great experience.
Played with Commission.
And
played with
Commission.
all
Oh yeah. The first time we played with Commission. I don't know if you remember this, but they really liked us.
They
They
did.
really, really did.
They didn't like that the crowd asked for another song.
Right. Oh yeah. They weren't happy
They
about
weren't happy
that.
about
It was kind of.
I remember walking out, and they said, "We ain't going out there like that. Y'all better go back out there."
Yeah. They were great. Fred Hammond was the coolest
Yeah,
guy, man.
yeah,
He was
really.
so nice to me.
All of this you're doing. You're traveling all over the place. You're leading this band, and you can't really see.
Yeah, I never look at it like that. As a matter of fact, when you talk about it now, I go, "What's the big deal?" So I wear these glasses. But God is so faithful that, many times what people think is a limitation is nothing in God's hands. I mean, you serve God, and God will take care of everything. You don't have to worry about the things that everybody thinks. I mean, I am handicapped and I can't drive, but that doesn't stop me. These days, I get in a bus and go to New York all the time.
All the time. You're traveling all the time.
Yeah.
We're with this band, the Gonzalez Brothers. We recorded over 7 albums together.
Yeah, 8 albums.
8 albums. We were signed to a major record company.
Yes, we were.
And we did all this wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
This band comes to an end, and you start another band.
Yeah, I started the band El Trio de Hoy with Freddie and Cuso, and then us 3 were together for a couple of years, and then we brought in Orlando and Alex. And oh yeah, you played with it.
Yeah, I played for a little while.
bit.
Yeah, what happened? Why you kicked me out of that group?
No, you told me that you didn't want to be, that you're supposed to be a frontline guy. You said, "Jay, I'm not gonna be in the back. I'm a front guy.
I kept traveling. You guys had me traveling with you guys, and I just had me thrown in the back with Orlando there.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to do was grab a mic and talk or sing.
Right, and we didn't let you.
You didn't let me, so I quit.
He quit. You quit us. But
I quit just before you guys took off.
No, but also you also were with us at an important time in our lives when Cuso needed a break and you came in.
Yeah.
And you played with us for a couple months. We
That
did
was fun.
Arizona.
Oh, that
and
was fun.
You were great. We did Tennessee. We did television. We did some cool stuff.
that band, the Gonzalez brothers, I believe, really helped build a real strong fan base.
Yes.
But when the trio came, it took it to a whole new level.
Yeah, it was one of those things that it came at the right time. And, and I got to say that Freddie came up with the name El Trío de Hoy, the actual name.
I thought it was me. Okay.
Yeah. And we were doing something that all of the older people really liked because we were still staying traditional.
Right. That's acoustic guitars.
And
percussion
voices
and maybe a bass.
minor percussion. But then, we started, doing something in English. We started doing some churches, and God started opening these doors, and we went full time.
You guys started playing larger churches, some of the most prestigious churches in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about one year I was with you guys. We were at Bishop Eddie Long's church for a New Year's service.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And you guys you played Manpower, and there's great footage of you dancing with Bishop T.D. Jakes in front of 22,000
One of my favorite, but a lot of people don't know this, but I actually asked him permission. I wouldn't just call him up.
Really?
People who do that never get invited back with him.
You know what? I didn't know you asked him permission. I thought you were that crazy, though.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not that crazy because, we had played the night before, and it went really well. God gave us favor. We were leaving, and the bishop calls us over. He says, "Would you guys come back tomorrow?" And I said,
"You weren't scheduled to play the next
No, there was another band that was supposed to play, and he sent the band home. He said that what he was looking for, it was us the next morning. And then I said, "Bishop, if I call you up, will you dance?" He goes, "Absolutely."
Really?
Yeah, and that's how that happened. I called him up the next day, and
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. You guys do all this stuff, and then there came a time where there was just no trio. It seemed for a little while, especially for you. A pretty serious happenings.
Yeah, like life. Life is tough and rough for those of us on stage and those of us that aren't. So the only difference is that a lot of people know my stuff, and I don't know what happened to you. But a lot of us go through stuff. I went through a divorce, and it wasn't an awful divorce because Mari and I are still friends.
Absolutely.
And Mari is a great woman, and I could have been a much better husband. Music was so important to me that I almost didn't give her the attention she deserved many times. The day that Jesse was born, my son Jesse, who's a wonderful drummer,
I remember this.
and Ron Canoli used Jesse playing drums for 2 years. Jesse traveled with him. Jesse's amazing, and he's 25 now, and he's married, lives in Virginia. But the day Jesse was born, I had a concert in New York, and Mari asked me to stay, and I couldn't because the pastor said they had sold like 500 tickets or something, and so we get over there. You were there. You went with me, and there was like less than 100 people there. And Mari was so upset for years. And and now that I look back at it, she was right. I was all in the wrong. I mean,
a lot of people being in ministry for as long as we've been in it, a lot of people do this. They take their commission from God to do ministry so seriously that they
neglect.
They neglect and other things just stay by the wayside. What would you say to a pastor that's watching this?
Yeah.
That right now he knows his wife might be watching this and saying, "Oh, this is not."
Yeah, it's funny. There was a pastor, and I remember him, Johnny Wade Sloan, and his lovely wife Diane, powerful pastors from Ohio, and she told me one day that the biggest mistake she did was not paying attention to her kids because of people from church.
Wow.
She told me that's the biggest mistake I ever did, and if I could do it all over again, I would tell that guy to go fly a kite. I got to pay attention to my kid.
Wow.
And a lot of us, we think that God needs us so much.
Yes.
That listen, and these days it's a little different. These days I can say what I can't go.
Yeah.
That's it. Things are different now today.
So tell me about that transition quickly between when you were on top of the world, everybody's dialing your number, and then all of a sudden it seems like nobody wants to talk to you, and you're going through this tough divorce, and there's other things happening in your life. What was that like?
It got to a point in my life where there's some things in my life that were going on personally. There were some issues that I had to resolve, and only God could fix them. And I've always been a very loving person, and I've always given of myself to everyone, whoever comes my way. But there were things that I needed that only God could do for me, and I needed a break. I needed a time away from the stage and a time from the public, away from the public. And when I went through the divorce and lost my house, lost the recording studio, lost everything that I had, I was supposed to come back to the band, but God didn't want it that way. And after 6 months, which I was supposed to come back, you probably remember this.
I do.
Now God had already put another girl in my life, another young lady named Jasmine, who's a big blessing to my life. And, you know, I didn't come back, and even still to this day, I didn't come back to the band. Um, but it doesn't mean that I despise them or don't like them or anything. As a matter of fact, I bless them, and Freddie came to visit me a couple of times this past week.
Yeah.
Alex called me yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's just a part. It's a part of life, man.
And so now, having all of the wealth of this knowledge
Yeah.
of what you did wrong, and the decisions that you made that could have probably gone better.
Right.
What do you say to young, hungry musicians, people that are out there that are on the verge of making some bad decisions?
You know what? I would say that when you have a wife that you love and loves you, and you have kids, it's important to celebrate birthdays with your kids. My son Jesse, and I'll make this quick. I was in Mexico once for about 30 days, and I sent him gifts. But I asked him, out of everything, and I sent him a bunch of gifts because I really missed him, both him and Janelle. Yeah. But as I came back, I said, "What did you like the most?" And he says, "Oh, Dad, I love the letter that you sent me the most." He got a letter that day, and I would say that it isn't buying your kids anything; it's just spending time with them, spending time with your family. And this coming weekend, I'm going to be singing in New York, and I'm trying to take Jasmine because this is Mother's Day, and I don't want to leave her alone for that. Yeah. So these are the kinds of things that you learn and you mature. You learn to.
Now you have 3 beautiful babies.
I have
new babies.
Jay, Layla, and Benjamin, which we named after our brother Ben.
Yep, that happens to be today, May 8th.
Today, May 8th.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
The Lord took them away.
We never forget it.
That's right.
I think it's 4.
4 years.
4 years.
Oh, feels like longer.
Yeah.
It's been so long. But listen, we're out of time.
Okay.
I wish we could keep talking, but gonna have you back. There's so much.
Well, I was going to bring my guitar and I was going to play a couple songs, but then...
Well, let's do it. Let's have you back. And thank you so much for just being so candid and honest. And I hope you enjoyed that talk. We're not over. We'll be back. This is just a break. One of the most devastating things in what I call your Job period, because it was a lot. You lost everything.
Everything.
You have a new wife and a little baby girl. Tell us about baby Jay's miracle.
Jay is amazing. She is now 4 years old, but she was about 2 hours away from death. And that's really the transition where God changed my life, by the way, because I started doing music in the hospital. I gave over 500 CDs.
Every day?
Every day I gave CDs away. And I started ministering to people and singing, just loving people. I have good friends still. Excuse me. We go to the hospital today, and people see me. They say, "Where's your guitar?"
Yeah.
They remember. And so that's where things changed for me. I realized that I didn't have to be in front of thousands of people to do what God gave me. Yeah.
And one time I went to visit you, and you took me to a little room, just a little boy, and where you just go and play for him. One kid who was in a coma, if I remember correctly.
Yes, you're right.
He couldn't even respond to you.
Right.
But you enjoyed playing to him.
Well, his mom and dad are still my very good friends, and we've visited. I've gone to see him after and played at his birthday party for him. His name is Shohan. Yeah. So, listen. I mean, that's where I believe God started changing things for me personally, and let go a lot of bitterness, a lot of because I wanted to really live in that victim moment where people did me wrong, all this, but the God totally changed everything. I started just praising Him and writing songs that were glorifying about Him, and stopped talking so much about what I went through. God helped me in my misery, and I just started worshiping Him and giving Him. That's why I wrote these little songs like Fluye and these things that some of us are singing in the church today.
Absolutely.
Things changed there for me.
Incredible process. What a process, and to be from our vantage point, the people that love you, people that saw you at your lowest, but always knew you were going to be back, and always knew you were going to bounce.
Praise God. Well, you know what? The people that loved me always did, and always have. My very, very good friends have still stayed in touch. There was a time where I didn't have a phone for a long time, and I just totally stayed away. But those people still found a way to find me. The people that really care. And so I would tell anyone that's going through something like that, the people who really are your people, who are your friends, are going to love you regardless. Yeah. You just have to seek, you have to seek God.
Jay, it sounds silly coming from me. I'm your brother, but a quick story. We're in California. You weren't even there, and a well-known Spanish singer says from the altar, I went to Puerto Rico one time, and there was a sound in Puerto Rico. I left 2 years later. I came back. Everything in Puerto Rico changed the sound of Spanish Christian music. When I asked what happened, they said a family called the Gonzalez brothers came to Puerto Rico and changed the sound. And you are a pioneer, really a legitimate pioneer of Spanish Christian music, having two very successful bands under your belt. And what are you doing now?
It's funny because I was just thinking while you're saying that our first album just became a collector's item. The very first album called
right?
"I Love Everything About You."
Great, yeah.
I just got a call, and if I had an album that was sealed, it was worth $500. If I had an album
Really?
sealed, yeah. So that's
Find
amazing.
my-
Did you know that?
Well, no, I'm
Yeah.
gonna look for one.
Yeah, I have one that's open.
Not that I'd sell it, but I.
Well, you know what, Pastor? These days, I'm with you. Whenever I'm not traveling, I'm with you at our church, and I play bass for you, and it's a pleasure to worship God there, and I feel good there with you. And I love everyone there here at CWC.
You have a lot of spiritual sons, people that
Yes.
look up to your music.
Yes, I do.
The list is long.
Yeah, I have a few favorites though. You know, I mean, I got to say that Alex is one of my kids. Alex
Yeah.
Moran is one of today's greatest musicians, and Jesse Caraballo,
Yep.
who happens to be Mark Anthony's timbalero. In case
Yeah.
you don't know, I mean, he was named after me actually.
Yeah, yeah,
And his parents love me, and Jesse and I talk all the time. And
that's right. And Abby is
and
another
Abby's another kid that grew up listening to the G Boys.
phenomenal musician.
Still calls me Jason. That
Yeah.
kid. So there's a lot of there's some good things out there.
If people want to get a hold of your music now, the stuff that you're doing now, which I think is really fantastic,
Thank you, brother.
how do they get a hold of your music?
Well, you know, my music is on Spotify, but also it's on iTunes. People can buy it on iTunes.
Now, it's not Jesse Gonzalez, is it?
It is.
Oh, I thought it was
Jesse Gonzalez.
Jesus.
No. Jesus, if you want to be my friend on Facebook.
Okay, if you want to see him on Facebook, you have to look up as Jesus Gonzalez,
Yeah.
but all your music is still Jesse
Jesse Gonzalez. And I'm traveling a lot. I'm doing a lot of solo stuff. I've got some guys in New York that are playing with me and staying busy.
Amen. So if you're ready to have him come sing or talk about his experience, he's ready to go.
Big J118 is my email.
BigJ118@gmail.com.
That's correct.
We just thought we'd just let you know what I think what one of the most influential men in music has been doing lately. I think that this is the greatest season of your life. I think some of the best songs and music
Praise
you've
God.
ever written is right now. So.
You know that the last thing I'll say is that hearing from people like Rene Gonzalez and
Yeah.
who still love
Dear
me
friends.
and you know and seeing what God is doing, I give God the glory because you know in the end it's all about God. It has nothing to do with us. It's all about God in the end.
This concludes our show today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I mean, I get this all the time, but I was thrilled to be able to share it with you. Write to us. Let us know what you thought. But on behalf of everybody here at Hope TV, we thank you for watching. God bless you.